Imagine this, a man stealing a loaf of bread to feed his starving child. The law calls him a thief, punishes him for theft, but you believe him to be a hero. Your inner voice calls him a hero. Now, who should you listen, the law or morality? Hello everyone, I'm Antara and welcome to Career Launcher, where we break down the basic concepts of law in the most practical and thought-provoking way. Let's define our two heroes, or maybe should I call them two rivals, law and morality. As you can see on the board, I've mentioned the definition of the two. Law is a set of rules backed by morality. Basically, it is set by the government and you get punished on violating any of the laws. But morality, on the other hand, is what the society believes or your inner voice tells you about what is right or wrong. Your inner conscience tells you that this particular thing is right, this particular thing is wrong. That is morality. Now, here's the twist. Law is the same for everyone. Each and every citizen, each and every person in the country is to oblige by the law, is bound by the law. But morality is different for every person. Morality is something very personal. A particular thing can be moral for you but immoral for some other person, and similarly something that is immoral to you can be moral to other person. Let's break the two down into different points to understand it the easier way. Now, come on the board and look at the bifurcation that I've made. Law is mostly written and codified. Although you get certain laws that are uncodified, that are not written, but then they are followed by precedents or writings of the scholars or probably morality. Whereas morality is often unwritten. Law is enforced by the state on the citizens of that particular state, whereas morality is enforced by the society or somewhat self-enforced. I can believe something to be moral, whereas my society does not believe it to be moral. So morality is not enforced by the state, but it is enforced by ourselves or probably the society we live in. Thirdly, if you can see, laws are uniform for all. Each and every person, each and every citizen is to be bound by the same laws, whereas morality varies from person to person. And if you break a law, if you violate a law, the state punishes you with either imprisonment or death penalty or fine, whereas there is no legal punishment provided on violations of morality or breach of morality, but social consequences you will have to face for it. Now let's take certain examples. Let's discuss about a whistleblower who leaked government secrets to expose surveillance, some corrupt practices by the government. Now, if you look at it, legally it was incorrect, but morally it was correct. Now, you guys remember the Satyagraha conducted by Gandhiji? Breaking the laws of the Britishers under British reign was legally incorrect. But for Indians, the action was morally correct, completely correct, which was justified. Similarly, if we take the example of honor killings, some people consider killing of the people who marry some person from some other caste as morally correct. But law calls it cold-blooded murder. Now, do you see the situations legally incorrect but morally correct? Now, these examples show how law lags behind morality in certain cases, but morality, if is not checked properly, can be considered dangerous for the society as well. Now, why does it matter to you as law aspirants? Legal reasoning mostly gives us situations where there is a clash between law and morality, and you have to decide which situation should win. Now, for example, a woman kills her husband who is always been very abusive to her, and in order to save her life, she kills the husband. Now, morals say that she acted correctly, she was correct with her actions, but law calls it murder. Until and unless she falls under self-defense, until and unless there are general exceptions that can be applied to her case. Now, in such situations, how will you deal with the case? Will you call it morally correct action, or will you call it a murder? If you don't know the difference between the two, the law and morality aren't enemies, but when they fight, the society grows. As law students, you must ask certain questions, one of which is, should law follow morality or lead it? Tell us what you choose in the comments below. Would you choose law or would you choose morality? And do subscribe our channel for more of such legal content.